Hello students, in this lecture we are going to learn about refraction through a glass slab. Okay, we have already learned the laws of refraction and how refraction happens. So let us start this lecture. Suppose I have taken this transparent glass slab. Okay, so the slab is of thickness T. The slab has been put on some table, you can say, or on a transparent glass table. Now suppose if a ray, incident ray, which strikes the slab, suppose at an angle I, let's draw a normal here, right? This normal will be what? Perpendicular to the slab surface. So this angle is I. Okay, now this medium is what? Air, and this is glass, and we know that the refractive index of glass is more than air. So what will happen? The ray will bend towards the normal. So let us draw like this. This is my R. Correct? Now again at this surface, the ray will get out of the slab, okay, and it will enter the medium air. Now at this point also the refraction happens. Let us draw a normal again here, right? And again from glass to air, what will happen? The refracted ray, it will move away from the normal. Let us say this angle as my R dash and this angle as E. What is E? Angle of emergence. Now this ray is coming out of the slab. First it entered the slab at this surface, and then it is getting out of the slab at the opposite face, from the opposite face. Okay, so let us understand what is here. Now if we look at this two angles R and R dash, okay, we have drawn perpendicular. Normal means what? Perpendicular. So we have drawn two perpendiculars here. So these two lines are parallel to each other, right? So this R and R dash are what? Alternate angles. So we can write that R will be equal to what? My R dash. Correct? And in the principle of reversibility, we have already learned that if my angle of refraction, the inside angle is same, outside angle will also be same. Means suppose this medium, if we call it N1, N2 and then again N1, right? So if we apply Snell's law, what will happen? This N1 sine I will be equal to N2 sine R for refraction at this point, and for refraction at this point we can write N2 sine R dash will be equal to N1 sine E. Now we have already proved that R is equal to what? R dash. How? Because these two lines are normal and normal to the same surface, so they are parallel to each other, right? So this R will be equal to R dash. So we can say these two terms are same, so we can equate these and these. So N1 sine I will be equal to N1 sine E. N1 will get cancelled and sine I is equal to sine R, sine E, and from this we can conclude that I is equal to E. Correct? So this I is equal to E. Now what does this mean? What is the meaning of this I is equal to E? Let us understand this thing. Okay, if we just extend these two lines, correct? Let us extend these two lines. So what will happen? Now see, I am saying this E is equal to I, right? So these two are my parallel lines. Okay, so we can say that this angle is equal to what? This angle. Okay, angle E is equal to angle E. These are basically what? Exterior alternate angles, right? If you draw two lines parallel and a transversal, these two angles are what? exterior alternate angles and they all are equal. So similarly here the lines are parallel and this is my transversal. So this angle is equal to this angle, but we have already proved that I is equal to what? E. It means this I is equal to, let us say this is my I dash. So when E is equal to I dash and I is equal to E, we have I is equal to what? I dash. So just look at in isolation, these two lines are like this and there is one line, and we are saying that this I is equal to what? I dash. Now these two angles are what? Corresponding angles, and if these are equal with each other, then these two lines are what? Parallel to each other. Okay, we have corresponding angles equal, so we can say that the incident ray and the emergent ray, they are parallel to each other, right? But what has happened? The incident ray was going in this direction, however the emergent ray is going in this direction, so there is a shift. This is known as my lateral shift or lateral displacement. Correct? This is known as my lateral displacement. So understood? I is equal to E means what? That this incident ray is parallel to emergent ray. You don't need to prove it, but just understand that these two rays are parallel to each other, but there is a shift in the direction, or you can say in the position. So this is what? Lateral displacement. Okay, we will calculate this lateral displacement also. Now let us calculate how much is my lateral displacement. Okay, so I have again made the graph. This thickness is T and I have taken this RR. Earlier I have proved it that these two angles are equal and these two angles are also equal. So now look at this triangle, or you can say first look at this angle. Okay, these are vertically opposite angle, correct? So the whole angle is what? My I, vertically opposite angle. So this angle you can say is what? I minus R, because total angle was I and this small angle was R. So what is left out here? I minus R. Understood this angle? Okay, now in this triangle, this point, this point, this point, this triangle, this is my 9 degree. Okay, I am taking the perpendicular distance D. Sine I minus R, if I apply sine I minus R, what is that? Let's say my this distance is X. Which distance? Let's name it A, this is B, this is C, D. Okay, this is, let's name as E. So in triangle A C E, okay, sine I minus R, we can write it as CE, perpendicular, upon AC, hypotenuse. Correct, using trigonometry. So what is CE? CE is my lateral displacement, which is D, and AC we don't know yet. Let us keep it like this. Okay, now we want to find our AC. Okay, so let us take the triangle ABC. In triangle ABC, again it is the right angle here, and we can call cos R. Let's take cos R. Cos R is what? Base upon hypotenuse, which is AB upon AC. Correct? What is my AB? AB is thickness of the slab, so we can write T upon AC. Correct? So if we divide these two equations, your AC will get cancelled and you will get sine I minus R upon cos r will be what? D by AC upon P by AC. AC will get cancelled. So you will get what? D is equal to T sin I minus R upon cos R. So if you know I, you know R, and you know the thickness, right? You can calculate lateral displacement. Okay. Now at this point, I want to tell you one more thing. Okay. See, this is, suppose this is my N1, right? And this is my N2. Refractive index, again this is N1. Okay. So if you want to calculate the refractive index of glass with respect to air, okay, what I am saying, refractive index of glass with respect to air, what is this? This is my N2 by N1. And if I want to calculate refractive index of air with respect to glass, you can say medium 1, medium 2, like this. So it is what? N1 by N2. Now from these two relationships, we can say that right. So refractive index with respect to each other is basically what? A reciprocal of each other, right? So if we know that, suppose example, if we know that refractive index of medium 1 with respect to medium 2 is 4, suppose it is 4, then we can write refractive index of M2 with respect to M1 will be what? 1 by 4. Just take the reciprocal. Okay. Okay, let us understand what are the factors which affects the lateral displacement. Means how much we are getting our lateral displacement is dependent on which factors. So we know the formula now, that it is what? T sin I minus R upon cos R. So definitely my D is what? Dependent on T, the thickness of the slab. So if the thickness is more, the lateral displacement will be more, right? Got this point? Then it is simply dependent on I also, because the sin I minus R is there, right? So it is dependent on the angle of incidence. More the angle of incidence is, it will be more lateral displacement. Okay. If the I is less, then it is lesser in lateral displacement. And again it is dependent on R also. Okay. So if the refractive index is R is what? Angle of reflection, and R comes from where? It comes from refractive index. We know that sin I upon sin R is N2 by N1. Correct? So this R depends on these two factors. Okay, the refractive index. So you can say that D is dependent on refractive index. So these three factors decides that how much is our lateral displacement. Okay. Okay, now we will understand how the images, multiple images are formed when we keep a thick slab or a thick mirror. The thickness of the mirror is more than the normal mirror. Okay, let us say we have taken a thick mirror here. This is my first surface and this is my second surface, which is polished. So this bottom is what? Actual my mirror. Okay, now let us see. Suppose I have taken this one point A. Okay, let us see how its image is formed. So for image formation we need two rays. Okay, so what I am going to do, I am taking one ray normal to the slab, so it will go undeviated. Next we will take another ray which will, let us keep it like this. Okay, now what will happen at this point, some part of this ray will get reflected. Okay, some part of this will get reflected. Let us draw a normal here also. So suppose my angle of this will, okay, so suppose as per the law of reflection, what will happen, some part, very less part, some part will get reflected. Okay, and what will happen, major part will be refracted. So if you draw this line here, okay, right, so because of this ray and this ray, one image is formed here. Let us name it A1. Okay, but since the intensity of this ray is very small, so this A1 will be very light. Okay, this image will be very light. We will hardly able to see that image, but if you concentrate, you can see this image, right? Now what will happen next? So measure of this refracted part. Suppose, let us put a number. Suppose this was 100%. So let us say 10% has gone this way and 90% has gone. Of course, the numbers are not real, but let us put a number 90%. Okay. Now what will happen? At this point there will be no refraction, only a reflection will take place because there is a mirror. So like this. Okay. So again normal was here, so reflection took place, and then what will happen at this point, again what will happen, now the major part will go refracted and the minor part will be reflected back, because this was my main ray, so it was going inside the slab, so hence majority was refraction. Here also the major ray, it will go, majority will be reflection. So if you follow, it will be parallel to this ray and it will go like, if you extend, this will be my second image. Hence I am saying multiple images will be formed. Okay. Now suppose 90%, so after reflection again it will be 90%. Suppose it has gone 80% there and 10% again. Correct. So my major two rays are what? This, which is going 100% this way, and 80%, right? So these two rays are meeting at A2, hence our A2 will be the brightest. There will be multiple image, but my A2 will be the brightest. This is my main image. Okay, and we have got A1 also. Now this will continue, right? Again what will happen, this 10% will be reflected here, and again a refraction takes place, and if you extend this line you will get A3, and it will keep on going until you reach the end of the mirror or slab, right? And these all will be the lighter image, so this A2 will be the brightest. Correct. Now look, in diagram I have shown that these three rays are very far away with each other, but practically what happens, they are very close to each other and they reach our eyes at the same time, and hence we will see the multiple images at the same time. Okay, what the concept of multiple images?